Okay, so this is a sample bedroom design, if you choose to do a room design. Room design, so you can incorporate whatever you want. I'm going to show you how to add bed, a couple dressers, things on the walls, but you can add other things. It does not have to be a bedroom. It could be a room with table, kitchen, refrigerator, could be a game room, but a lot of these shapes and structures that we're going to draw, you're going to apply the same techniques. So certainly if you get in a bind, just let me know and I can come and give you a hand. Even with this room design, again, this is just a sample, so you need to make it your own, as always, and have fun with it, be creative. So room designs, we're going to start a little bit different than we do with our landscape designs or our city designs. So in our room design, what I'm going to have you do is there's different ways you can start your room design. What we're going to do for this one is we're going to start by establishing our vanishing point. And our vanishing point for our room is, it's going to end up being a spot on the back wall. So you're going to end up with 3 walls in your room. So that vanishing point, though, as we're looking into the room, is going to be the farthest wall that we're looking at. So you don't want it too low because you're not going to have enough room in the front to add things. So definitely when you add your vanishing point, you want it somewhere towards the middle. I'm going to ask you to do that. It's going to make it a little bit easier. Certainly vanishing point can be anywhere on your paper, but for us, we're going to stick with putting it somewhere in the middle. And somewhere slightly high, doesn't have to be too high though. You don't want it like, almost off your paper. Okay, so I'm going to establish my vanishing point there. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with a bed structure. And the first thing that I'm going to draw is the shape of it as you're looking at it. So it's going to kind of be the mattress of the bed. So my first line that I'm going to draw is I'm going to establish where that's going to start. And so this first line that I'm going to draw is going to be a horizontal line. So what I'm going to use as a reference is I'm going to use the top of my paper because I know that's a nice straight horizontal line. The bottom of my paper is a nice straight horizontal line. So I'm going to use that to get me started. And I'm going to use my vanishing point is here. And what I'm going to do is just based on where I have the ruler, I'm just going to kind of line it up. So I have 5 inches right here. So it's kind of in line with my vanishing point. So if I draw a line here from 4 to 6, I know that's going to be about 1 inch on both sides. So the back of my bed's going to be about 2 inches long. My next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to slide my ruler down here, and I want to establish where I want the end of my bed to be. So again, it's going to be a horizontal line. Now this line, if it's slightly off from your vanishing point, it's not a big deal because we're going to use these 2 ends of this first line as a reference point. So I'm going to actually make this line a little bit longer so you can see if that happens, how it'll automatically adjust for us. So I'm just going to draw a long horizontal line here. So that's going to end up being the end of my bed. But now when I go from my vanishing point to the end of this line, I pull it out, it's going to establish the end of my bed for me. So even though this line was longer, I'm certainly going to erase that extra part, but that helped me establish where the end needed to be. So again, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm going to line it up and pull it down. So this is going to, again, be the top of my bed. So looking at my bed, I need to establish the end of my bed. So looking at it, kind of like the footboard of it, even though it's still going to be like the mattress part, the end of it, and that's going to be a shape. So I'm going to draw a horizon line. I'm going to make sure it's parallel to the end of my bed, but now these lines are going to run up and down. So they're going to be vertical lines. So it's going to create a shape. So it's going to be a rectangle here. So that was a little bit longer, so I can erase that. So now I have the end of my bed, top of my mattress, end of my bed. I'm gonna add a headboard, so that's also gonna be a shape. So I'm gonna establish how high I want that to be. So I think I'll have it come up to about here. So again, that's gonna be a horizontal line. And then from the corners of my bed here and here, I'm gonna draw vertical lines to help finish that shape for me. So again, make sure your ruler's straight. Okay, so I have my headboard, kind of like my footboard for my bed. Now, I can go in and add legs, or I could add another box to the bottom if I wanted to. So I'm gonna add some legs on my bed. So I'm gonna line my ruler up so it's the same distance on both sides. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make a couple little lines here. So that's where the feet are gonna go of my bed. So again, these are gonna be shapes. So I'm just gonna use this line to continue down to finish these shapes. We'll keep it basic here, shapes. And then I would see a little bit coming back to the vanishing point, just to show that depth here, and to turn those legs into a three-dimensional shape. So I could pull that back toward the vanishing point from the corner, and I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, pull that back. So now my legs have now turned into a three-dimensional piece. Okay, pillows. If you want to put pillows on your bed, you would just draw them as pillows. So you could just start, you know, with a rectangular shape. Sometimes pillows have like the little pillowcases on them. So you can just draw your pillows however you would like. Put those on your bed. Obviously you wouldn't see this line because your pillows are covering it up. So we can get rid of those. Again, if you erase lines, just go back and fill them back in. If you want like a sheet on your bed, this is gonna be horizontal. So maybe we're gonna add a little sheet on there. So just a little separation, so it looks like you have some bedding. Okay, we're gonna add a couple of dressers onto here. So what we're gonna do is, sometimes it's good to use what you have already established. So can you see how I have this line for where my headboard is? So I'm just gonna line my ruler up here. And I had made that line 2 inches, if you remember. So I wanna put my nightstands, I'm gonna draw 2 nightstands, 1 on each side. So I'll make them about 1 inch too. So I'm gonna come out 1 inch this way and 1 inch that way. So this is gonna end up being the top of my nightstands. So my next piece is, because the nightstands are gonna be coming towards us, I need to pull them out in this direction. So I'm gonna pull a couple lines out this way. Okay, so this is gonna be the top of those. If you didn't do a sheet, that's okay, but if you did, you can certainly use those lines to help you establish where you want the top of your nightstand to end. Okay, so I want the tops to end there and there. So I made those lines a little longer than I needed to. Now I need to think about, okay, I'm facing these nightstands. So the face of things are a shape. So I need to turn this into a shape now. So I want to keep these the same size. So whatever I do on this side, I'm going to do on that side. So I'm going to draw a line out this way, a line out this way, and then I need to connect these as a shape. So this line needs to be straight up and down vertical. This line needs to be straight up and down vertical. So I have a little extra on both sides. So now when I look at this, I have my 2 stands here. Now you may want to go back and add, I'm going to put a couple drawers on here. So that's just basically adding a line to split it. Again, that line's going to be a horizontal line. So maybe there's a knob on here. Maybe you want to add a lamp. So I'll put a lamp on one side. But you could add both. Again, this is your design, so make it what you want. Okay, so I have a lamp on that side of the bed. And you could put anything you want on the other side. Okay. Okay, next step that we're going to do is we're going to start to establish this back wall. So we're going to end up having 3 walls in our bedroom design here. So I know that based on where I have my bed and my nightstands, that the back of my wall is going to be about in this area, okay? And I need to establish it as a shape. So I'm going to start to pull out this way and this way, okay? So I just basically kept that line straight. So now I need to turn this back wall into a rectangle or square. If yours ends up being a square, that's fine too.